family. You know, things are serious. We were just talking about COVID and how we both lost loved ones due to the COVID that does exist. And so, for all you deniers, take that. It does exist. So, anyway, today on Comic Spot was created by this Michigana lady with the cat glasses. And I'm a veteran of the military, and I'm here to vet out veterans of comedy. I don't know, maybe Mario is an Army veteran. We don't know. We've got to find these things out. But he's originally from Jackson, Mississippi, so you know he's cool. And he's now living somewhere in Wisconsin. He's a booker, a promoter, and a comedy performer. He does it all, you guys, in Wisconsin. Did you know he could do that in Wisconsin? He's now focusing on his day job, and I don't even know what his day job is. We got to find out. But this guy, Mario Lankeith Robinson, has opened for the likes of, not the likes of, he has opened for TJ Miller, John Witherspoon. Oh my gosh, even I know who that is. It's talking up my alley now. And Eddie freaking Griffin. Give it up for Mario Lankeith Robinson. Woo! Hi.
Hi.
Hey, how are things in Wisconsin?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
Good. You were talking before we went live that you had some soul food because your sister is very close by and has a soul food restaurant.
Yeah, right across the street from my apartment.
That's so cool. Now, what city are you in? DUR or something?
I live in Dousman.
Dousman. Where is
Yeah.
that in Wisconsin? Where can I find it?
Well, if you know Milwaukee and Madison, it's about halfway between Milwaukee and Madison.
Oh.
So if you were traveling from Milwaukee to Madison, halfway there, you'd be at my exit.
Awesome. Did you ever think you'd wind up in Wisconsin?
I didn't think I was gonna stay, but I found when I was about 19, I found a really good day job, and I've been doing that ever since. And comedy, I wasn't doing comedy at first, but I decided to focus on the sure money, the local money, because I have responsibilities here. And comedy is just kind of a thing I like to do. So there's really no pressure if I don't get any work or if it goes bad or whatever. I just do it because I like to do it.
That's like me. I was in the military, so I have a military monthly, and also I'm old enough to get Social Security, so winning.
I'm a little from that, but not too far.
Yeah. So tell me, are you a military veteran?
No, but I come from a military family, and I really love and respect our troops. And one of my favorite things is to watch when troops come home and surprise their families and their pets.
Isn't that fun?
I don't know. I don't know if I could take the life of another human being that wasn't trying to like destroy my family or something. I don't know. I just didn't want to. But yeah, my grandfather, my grandfather's in World War II. My stepfather was in Vietnam. And those are two of my most respected patriarchs in my family. So,
are they both still alive, Mario?
My grandpa died a while ago. My stepfather's still alive, though.
Tell him thank you for his service from me, please, when you see him.
Absolutely, I will.
Absolutely, yes. So, when you were growing up in Mississippi, I assume, I'm making an assumption you grew up there. I know you're from there. When did you start becoming funny? Because you're just naturally, you can't go very long without being funny. I can see that. You got that written all over you. So this had to start when you were in first grade.
I think my earliest, when I was growing up in Mississippi, my dad, who died about 20 years ago, he liked Richard Pryor, and, he'd watched some of the people who we consider the trailblazers now.
Yes.
And at the time, I didn't really appreciate what I was watching. But that coupled with growing up with my mom, because my mother and father they never got married or lived together. My mother married my stepfather when I was young. But my father's always been a part of my life until he died. But watching those guys, and then my mother was really funny. And that combined with already seeing these guys on TV made me think it was okay to be funny. Like, it wasn't just being a child or being immature. Like, you could be funny and still be, respected. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just you're just some goofy kid, because there's Richard Pryor, so
Yes.
that made a huge difference, I think. And my mom, she was always funny. Even when she was being authoritarian or disciplinary, she was still like kind of funny with it while she was whooping my ass, So I don't know. That's always been a part of our family growing up, is humor.
So at what point in your life did you start getting attention for being funny, and what made you go on stage?
Well, when I was in high school, I had the privilege of being in the same class as a good friend of mine, Marlon Hill. He's a local comedian here. He actually did the voice of Barack Obama on the Boondock series, the animated series.
Wow.
And he was on a Night at the Apollo when I was 19. This was my classmate. We won like 5 weeks in a row the comedy contest on Night of the Apollo. And I just watched him become like this almost famous guy, like people don't even know that they know him, and he always got in trouble in school, but he made me think, like, it's, who cares about what the teacher thinks? It's funny. It makes the people laugh. And I don't know. He was one of my mentors. Not like he didn't like mentor me, but I looked at him as a mentor.
Yes.
So
how long? What is your day job?
I am asphalt paving construction man. I pave driveways and I drive a quad axle dump truck.
It's a very down to earth job.
Literally, yes, it's very down to earth.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I hear myself. There's an echo. Do you hear the echo?
No, you sound the same. You sound fine.
Okay. So when I was a kid, I used to go outside. This was in the 60s, early 60s. And if it was hot, the pavement would melt and there'd be black tar bubbles. You know what I'm talking about? And I'd pop them. I'd go around popping them.
Oh, that's a little weird, but okay.
I was very weird. You just don't even, I didn't come out of my shell till about 45 years of age.
Yeah.
So
sometimes it takes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I'm kind of the same. I was. It was a while before I realized, like, hey, let's try to do this in front of people. I went to an open mic, and it was actually not even a comedy open mic. It was like a jazz open mic, but I didn't know the difference at the time. And I got up and did like 2 or 3 minutes, and someone saw me and invited me to an actual comedy open night. And I can't even remember. That was about 15 years ago, I think.
Wow. Thank you for putting up with the comedy scene for 15 years. That's a long time. And what's it like getting to open for these big guys that you've opened for?
Oh my God. My favorite of all time was John Witherspoon. He came to Jokers a couple times, and I was hosting, and I would open for him. And he was just so humble. He was so humble, and like he seemed like just if you didn't know him, like if you didn't know it was John Witherspoon, he would just be like the nice neighbor that was funny. You wouldn't know he was in movies, and you just wouldn't know that from talking to him, looking at him. And I asked him one day after a show why he was so humble, and he said that he had been out on a dinner date with David Letterman years ago, And people kept coming up to Dave at the table and asking for pictures and autographs. And David Letterman signed every autograph. He talked to everybody, and he was patient with everyone. And afterwards, John said he asked him how was he like that still, and Dave told him that without those people, he would be nothing. And that was the most, like, I don't know, that struck me as, okay, I don't have to be an asshole to be, I don't know, it was very humbling and very inspiring to see someone of that stature still consider his fans as important, and each one of them, he treated them, like they meant something to him. So yeah, he's my favorite of all time. And the world lost a very funny man when he died. So yeah.
How long ago did he pass?
Roughly. I'd have to look that up. I don't even really.
So whenever it was, were you in contact with him, and how did that affect you?
Well, no, we weren't like friends, but whenever he came to Milwaukee to perform, I was there. Like, it was like 3 times. And the first couple times was fun, but the last time he remembered me and we exchanged phone numbers, and it was like, he was just humbling. He made me feel really special. Like he was a regular guy, and he thought I was funny. He laughed at some of my jokes and stuff. And
that's so cool.
he was one of my favorites.
That's really, really special. So, Eddie Griffin, he's a regular here at Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And you've opened for him. And I've never, ever, I gotta admit, I've never even looked at his material to see what it's like. So now I'm going to go catch it on YouTube today to try to get a glimpse of what he's like. But what was that like, getting asked to open for him?
It was a different experience, but it was the same level of like fandom, kind of like, oh my God, it's Eddie Griffin.
Yes.
And I could tell you a story about all right, since the place isn't open anymore, and I don't think Eddie Griffin's going to hear about this, but before a show at Joker's, I was in the green room with him and a couple of his entourage, like a bodyguard or whatever. I don't know who was doing what job. But the owner of the club or one of the managers of the club at that time came in, and one of the bodyguards and me, we were rolling up some blunts to smoke. And Eddie said, before the manager said anything, Eddie said, "Oh, he rolling those for me. Don't worry about it." And the manager says, "All right, we'll just open the window," and just kind of walked out. And I was like, "Oh my God, it was really, weed is illegal here, and of course you can't smoke indoors." So just to see how he handled that, like, "Oh, those are for me," and the manager was, "Okay, well, just open a window," and I was like, "Oh wow, that's really cool."
That's so
he
cool.
He was nice. When he got a little drunk, he was a little short sometimes, but it was still funny, and he was still Eddie Griffin, so it was cool.
Yeah. So when he could easily play the role of a drunk at a bar and
right.
be funny.
Right. It was like watching, like, when he was off stage and he had a little drink in him and he was having a good time, and it was like watching him in a movie. It was that Eddie Griffin.
Wow.
So
I love watching him, but I've never paid attention to anything he's said. Like, he's a character, and I've noticed him here and there on this and that, and never paid attention to a thing he said. I gotta admit, I gotta go study it.
Yeah. I knew him from movies before I watched his stand-up. I didn't really watch the stand-up till after I had worked with him. It might not be for everybody. It's a little edgy and a little political, but I think he's a brilliant comedian, and he has the courage to say the things that he says in front of people, and I respect him. And I always think he's one of the more prolific comedians out there now.
He has a cult following.
Yeah. I'm one of them. I'm an Eddie Griffin fan.
Yeah, I would love to go catch one of his shows when Vegas reopens, but I got to go study and make, because like, I'm not much for political comedy. I'm really not, but I'm going to go watch it and see if it's something I want to pay to go see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't typically touch subjects like that because I'm a little afraid of offending people still.
Me too.
Even after all this time, like I want to please everybody, so I don't even. I mean, unless something just happened, and if you don't say anything, you sound like an idiot for not talking about it. But I don't think that's a place to take sides, and I don't think people go to comedy shows for that. You know,
Right.
I don't think they paid money to go to hear stuff they just heard on the news today.
Yeah, I go because I want to forget the crap on TV.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then there
So
are some people that go, and they really like it when people push the envelope and say things that, like people my age were raised not to talk about politics and religion. So some comedians like to talk about politics and religion just because you're not supposed to. Like suicide, you're not
right,
supposed to talk, be
right.
edgy, but
There's a place for that. I don't hate any person's style of comedy. It's just me personally. I've tried those jokes, and when I look at the faces of people, I can see some people are like laughing or think it's funny, but then there might be 3 or 4 people who, I don't know. That's just me. I want everybody to be happy all the time. And if I think a joke is going to make one person mad, I won't do it.
same here. I
So
take it through that filter of like, I would rather throw myself under the bus and be self-deprecating, almost to the
sure,
point where I'm self-defecating,
sure,
than pick on one person in the audience.
sure. Yeah, I'm not good with hecklers. Like I kind of get it. You're drunk. You're having fun at your birthday, but can you please shut up?
Same
I don't
here.
rip into them or nothing, but
Yeah,
so.
yeah. So, what is your comedy like?
I like observational humor. Um, I have 3 children and a grandson, so I have a lot of family stories that I like doing. The thing about family stories is, for me personally, is that no one can duplicate the things that my kids have said and done. So when I do that material, I feel very confident that it's fresh. And I mean, not fresh in the sense no one's ever had family issues, but this isn't something that happened. This happened to me yesterday. I like that kind of humor, and people can kind of see that, oh, this is like eating fresh fruit. This is fresh. This isn't a joke he wrote 10 years ago. You know,
Absolutely. What's
yeah.
something you learned along the way in 15 plus years of comedy, opening for the big guys? What's something you learned in comedy that if you'd have known that was something you were going to learn, you might not have done comedy? I mean, it was painful, but you made it through it.
Uh, I would say when you bomb, which is it happens to everyone, but some people can bounce back from that really, really good. And at first, when I bombed, if I had a bad show, it would hurt me. It would take me a long time to want to get back on stage.
Absolutely.
And if I had, because it was a long time before I had a quote unquote bad show. Like my first few shows they were short, but they were really funny. Like I was like, wow, this is easy. And then the time that I bombed, I went home, I cried. I was like, what am I doing? And I don't think I got on stage for like 2, 3 weeks after that. So if someone had told me that I was going to go through that, I probably would not have tried it. But afterwards, and seeing other people bomb, which still makes me really uncomfortable, I can go through that and okay, that's a bad set. It's not the all, you know, it's not your life. It's not the end of the world. And just do it better. And sometimes it'll be the same material that I did at another show that killed. And
Yes.
that's the weirdest thing to me. Like these people think that's hilarious, but few people don't think it's hilarious, and I don't understand how that works. Still, I wish I knew how that works.
Isn't
But
that amazing? Because that's another thing I like asking veterans of comedy like yourself is that people who are veterans like to throw the term you need to learn how to read the room.
mm-hmm.
And how do you learn that? You learn that by bombing, going back,
Right,
scratching your
yeah,
head. It's so hard to you. it's the toughest thing is to learn how to what you did right, what you did. Why did they laugh at this joke this time and last time that joke didn't get it, and vice versa?
Exactly. Yep.
To me,
I love.
it's you never figure it out, do you?
I think you get like the gist of, okay, I shouldn't do these types of jokes for this type of crowd. But individual jokes, when you do a joke and it doesn't work someplace where it's always, or sometime when it's always worked before, that still baffles me. Like
Yeah.
it must be them. It must be their fault because I know what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, they say you're never supposed to blame the audience, but if you know it's worked 10 times and one time it doesn't, maybe they weren't paying attention.
Right. Somebody, it's not me because this joke works 90% of the time. Yep, that's right.
Usually, what I say when a joke that I know a joke works and it doesn't work, I say, now, that joke works in a nursing home. I know that it worked in a nursing. If they can get it,
Right.
I don't know what your problem is.
Right. We all have those fallbacks. Like, okay, you prepare for, okay, if I tell this joke and it bombs, I'm gonna say this because I know
Exactly.
it's gonna.
Gotta be ready for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to tell people how to make it through the rest of this crazy time we're going through? Do you have any insight or any way that you've been coping with comedy? Like for me, I cannot watch the news in English. I turn it on in Spanish because I don't know a lick of Spanish and it's kind of funny in Spanish. It's the only way I get through this shit.
That's funny.
Thank you. Don't put the crawl up there and wreck my day.
All right. You just know something's happening somewhere. I personally, the I personally will suggest that you just respect your neighbors, respect other people, even though if you don't think the coronavirus is real or you can sick, whatever, just respect other people because you don't know what they think. You know, if you go into a place, this is one thing I don't get. I see these videos of people who go to places and they're like, hey, you got to wear a mask. And the people are, I don't have to wear a mask. This is a free country. It's like, okay, it is a free country, but just respect the people around you. You know, like if you invited to someone's house and they say, hey, take your shoes off, you're not going to say, I have a right to wear my shoes. It's not about that. It's about not, that comes from me growing up in a spiritual household. You know, treat people how you want to be treated. You know, do as the Romans do. If you're going to, don't stumble your brother, that kind of thing. You know, so even if I don't think I'm personally at risk or if I don't care if I'm personally at risk, I can still help ease the minds of others by not being that guy who comes into Walmart without a mask and gets belligerent because I have a right to not wear a mask. It's not about that. It's about loving your neighbor. So that's all that's going to get us through this is caring for each other because the government isn't prepared. The doctors, we don't have a vaccine and we don't know what's going to happen with comedy. We might not ever see comedy again like it's been before. It might not ever be the same. You know, so why hate each other about while this is going on? We should be helping each other and trying to figure a way out together. That's the only way it's going to work.
You have my heart. That's the same thing I've been saying is like, we're going through a pandemic. The sky is falling, the world is crashing around us, and we're going to argue? Like,
Right.
really? Can't find a way to get along yet?
Right.
This might be the last reality check you get before we check out of here. You don't know what's coming.
And there's so much going on. Why antagonize people? That's another thing I don't get about, like, I'll see videos of open carry audits, you know, like these people walk around with rifles hanging over their shoulders and they freak out because the police freak out. Is like, okay, you have a right to do that, but you know what time we're living in, you know what's going on. You know, we don't provoke stuff. Just, I don't know. I have no I don't have any answers.
It's the craziest time that we
It's so
ever
weird.
it feels like I'm living Twilight Zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Twilight Zone meets Hunger Games meets I don't know what. We're on the internet, Mario. Would you like people to follow you? We could. I guess we'd have to focus on that now.
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I don't really do Twitter too much. Twitter seems to be very political right now.
Okay.
I'm kind of leaning away from Facebook. I just mostly post, funny stuff. I don't really read the feed or anything.
Okay.
So I'm on.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, go ahead.
What's your name on Instagram?
Mario Lankeith Robinson.
Got it. It's the same everywhere.
Same
right?
on. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. And so during the summer months and good weather, you're doing the pavement type work that you do.
Yes.
Construction of pavement. And then when the weather is such that you're not outside doing that, then you go into performing comedy?
Well, I have a room that I was doing monthly before the pandemic. That's the only regular gig I had. And I would basically ask my booker to aim more for the fall and winter months. And she won't call me all summer. Then she'll start calling me in the fall, late summer, fall. And I'll usually go on the road, which is stupid. I go on the road in Wisconsin and northern America in the wintertime. But, it's fun, to go drive to Fargo or something. And I don't make any money. It's not really about the money, but it's just something I really like doing. And not having to worry about that as my income makes it a lot less stressful. And I don't mind turning down gigs or taking gigs that don't pay well because I don't do it for the money. So.
Oh, you got the best heart in the biz.
Oh.
And a great smile.
You already got me on your show. You don't have to.
You caught me brown nosing. Thank you so much for coming on, Mario. Let's get behind and follow him on Instagram. And if you're ever out in Wisconsin, look him up and see where he's performing, and catch his comedy and support him. That's what we're here for, is to support comedians. Thank you so much, Mario. I'm going to post my final thoughts along with your links on Instagram and Facebook again. And in 1 to 3 days, my tech guy will have like a sitcom version of this video, and I'll send it to you by messenger if you promise to post it.
I do promise. I promise.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see it now.
It's going to look really good. I'm going to look 25 years younger.
Oh, what about me? I want to look younger.
If they do it for me, they have to do it for you. It's a package deal.
Good.
Thank you so much, Mario. Have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you. You too, Linda.
Thank you, Mario. Bye.